Bigx the Plug, Bailey Zimmerman. Let's talk about it.
Hey, this is Bill Simmons from the Bill Simmons Podcast, here to tell you that Michelob Ultra is giving you the chance to win tickets to the NBA Finals. That's right, the 2025 NBA Finals. Just head to MichelobUltra.com/NBA Finals. Michelob Ultra Courtside NBA Finals Sweepstakes. No purchase necessary. Open to U.S. residents, excluding Maryland residents. 21 up. Begins at 9 a.m. EST on February 16, 2025. Ends on May 5th, 2025. See official rules at MichelobUltra.com/rules for price and details. Message and data rates may apply. Void where prohibited.
How y'all doing? Welcome to Let's Talk About It. Music Reviews Season 11. How y'all doing? Welcome to the show. We got a good show for you today. We got Bigx the Plug, and we have a country singer that I've never talked about on this show, Bailey Zimmerman. Never even heard of him. When I saw him, I just went... No, let me not even say that. All right, Bigx the Plug has dropped a new song. This is a country/trap rap fusion. This is a whole fusion joint here, and you know, I usually like fusion type genre type songs. You know, I praised the Lil Durk and Morgan Wallen song a couple of years back, the Post Malone and Morgan Wallen thing, you know, that whole, you know, thing happening. And there's been some other country stuff that I've talked about. I think there was another Morgan Wallen feature that he had. And yeah, you know, look, we're not talking about Morgan Wallen today. We're talking about Bigx the Plug featuring Bailey Zimmerman all the way. This is a relationship story type song. Let's get into it, starting off with this beat. Now look, this beat is the typical trap country fusion. And what does that mean? Well, it's going to be simple guitar, trap beat. Simple guitar, trap beat. And that's just how kind of this beat is. And honestly, when you think about it, guys, when I listen to a song like this, one of the things that I love to pick up is that, you know, I don't want to listen to the guitar that is just going on and over and over and over again, because it feels loopy. It feels like, you know, I'm listening to a song that I don't really, you know, doesn't have a lot to it. So the instrumental, I'm just going to say this, the beat is honestly a generic country.
This podcast is supported by Progressive, a leader in RV insurance. RVs are for sharing adventures with family, friends, and even your pets. So if you bring your cats and dogs along for the ride, you'll want Progressive RV insurance. They protect your cats and dogs like family by offering up to $1,000 in optional coverage for vet bills in case of an RV accident, making it a great companion for the responsible pet owner who loves to travel. See Progressive's other benefits and more when you quote RV insurance at Progressive.com today. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Pet injuries and additional coverage and subject to policy terms.
So good, so good, so good.
Just in and so good. Thousands of spring finds up to 70% off are at Nordstrom Rack stores now. And that means thousands of fresh reasons to rack.
How did I not know Rack has Adidas?
Vince, Calvin Klein, Rag & Bone?
Obsessed. Why do we rack? For the hottest deals.
Save on Madewell, Kate Spade New York, Sam Edelman, Joe's, and more. Great brands, great prices. That's why you rack.
Trap fusion instrumental. There's not much difference to it. There's no beat switches. There's no nothing to really, you know, to outstand it to anything. You know, this is the typical, you know, Morgan Wallen, like Lil Durk, you know, coming together type formula here. You know, you really hear that. So you get that on this track. But I will say this. Let's get into it, because Bailey Zimmerman is in the beginning. This hook immediately starts out. So this is a very hook-heavy track. Y'all know how I feel about hook-heavy tracks. Sometimes they hit, sometimes they don't. But, you know, it's just one of those things where sometimes it hits and sometimes it doesn't. So, let's talk about this damn hook. I actually like the hook. Bailey Zimmerman actually is really good on this hook. I like the vocals. I like the singing. And honestly, when I listen to this song, guys, I like what Bailey Zimmerman's doing on here. You know, the lyrics are simple, you know, just break up with me all the way. That's what, you know, the song's about. Guys, I got a goddamn ex-wife, you know. I know the whole true and tried ways, and, you know, I know the whole true and tried ways of, you know, this song is like if my grandma cooked me a freaking pot pie, a homemade, delicious goddamn pot pie that tasted so goddamn good. And the layers, every time I took a bite, just really came through, and that's kind of how this hook is. I like the vocals. I like how they're layered well. You know, the auto-tune's not bad. The singing's not bad. A couple of tracks from, you know, Morgan Wallen's, you know, catalog that I've checked out recently, the auto-tune's been pretty bad. The vocals have not sounded really good, but I'm going to say this, the vocals on here, you know, sound pretty good. So yeah, I really enjoy that. I like this hook. And then we immediately cut to a BigxthaPlug coming on here to deliver a really nice verse. I actually like BigxthaPlug. Surprisingly sounds pretty well on this beat. You know, I was like, is he going to be rapping his ass off? And he's immediately rapping his ass off, going absolutely insane on this goddamn track. And it's like, whoa. I didn't know BigxthaPlug was going to sound this good, but he was from Texas. You know, BigxthaPlug is from Texas, so, you know, he knows the country southern ways. So, you know, I thought he would sound really good on this beat. And I think this country instrumental, you know, trap beat, you know, goes really well with his voice, so I really do enjoy that. And then, you know, hey, this is the first time we're going to talk about lyrics on this damn show. I don't really talk about this. But how do I feel about the lyrics? This whole, like, storytelling relationship song, you know, is the storytelling good? Is the lyrics any good? You know, I would say the story is, you know, pretty basic. It's just kind of like, you know, it's just kind of like this. Break up with...
This episode is brought to you by the Toyota Grand Highlander. From daily routines to life-changing adventures, the Toyota Grand Highlander is spacious, powerful, and ready to take on life's grand challenges. Advanced safety features and innovative technology give you confidence for whatever life throws at you. And it's available in a hybrid Nightshade Special Edition, which includes sophisticated gloss black exterior accents and 20-inch black alloy wheels. Learn more at toyota.com/Grand Highlander. Toyota, let's go places.
Get ready for Netflix's gripping new medical drama, Pulse. Set in a cutting-edge Miami trauma center, third-year resident Dr. Danny Sims is unexpectedly thrust into a promotion when beloved chief resident Dr. Xander Phillips gets suspended. Then, with the emotional and physical stakes at their highest, a storm will push the hospital and its residents to their limits. Witness how life can change in a heartbeat when you're operating under pressure. Watch Pulse, only on Netflix.
Hi, here's your report.
Thanks, Jane. I wish I could hire a whole team of yous.
Try posting a job on LinkedIn. It's the world's largest professional network. Unlike resumes, LinkedIn gives a real-time view into a candidate's skills, experiences, and more.
Huh, let's do it. You're irreplaceable, Jane, but another you would be great.
Find your perfect match with LinkedIn. Post your free job at linkedin.com/achieve. That's linkedin.com/achieve. Terms and conditions apply.
The #1 selling product of its kind with over 20 years of research and innovation. Botox Cosmetic, onabotulinum toxin A, is a prescription medicine used to temporarily make moderate to severe frown lines, crow's feet, and forehead lines look better in adults.
Effects of Botox Cosmetic may spread hours to weeks after injection, causing serious symptoms. Alert your doctor right away as difficulty swallowing, speaking, breathing, eye problems, or muscle weakness may be a sign of a life-threatening condition. Patients with these conditions before injection are at highest risk. Don't receive Botox Cosmetic if you have a skin infection. Side effects may include allergic reactions, injection site pain, headache, eyebrow and eyelid drooping, and eyelid swelling. Allergic reactions can include rash, welts, asthma symptoms, and dizziness. Tell your doctor about medical history, muscle or nerve conditions including ALS or Lou Gehrig's disease, myasthenia gravis, or Lambert-Eaton syndrome, and medications, including botulinum toxins, as these may increase the risk of serious side effects. For full safety information, visit BotoxCosmetic.com or call 877-351-0300.
See for yourself at BotoxCosmetic.com.
With me all the way. And I know that's crazy to just say the overall story, but that's pretty much the meaning of this song. Break up with me all the way. And BigxthaPlug goes through it. He really talks about, you know, what he's going through, about his love. You know, it's the typical type of, you know, break up with me all the way type story. You know, there's been a few songs like this. A lot of R&B songs I've listened to, you know, have this kind of similar story, you know. Why are you always trying to come back to me when I'm trying to break up? You know, this whole all the way, you know, type thing. So that's honestly overall the storyline of these lyrics. Do I think it's, you know, a pretty good story or bad story? I think honestly this is the one of, you know, better kind of mainstream-esque storytelling raps. I remember when we covered a long time ago, which, I haven't talked about this name in a long time, but I remember when Jonah Lucas tried to do a similar thing, try to go with a mainstream sober, getting sober from alcohol type story. And it worked out in his favor, I will admit. Having a Jelly Roll feature really helps that out. So kind of having, the Bailey Zimmerman, feature really helps out with this kind of mainstream appeal. So that kind of thing going on here, it's that similar type thing, except George Lucas doing it was just terrible. But BigxthaPlug doing it actually sounds really fucking good. So that's a really cool thing. I actually do enjoy BigxthaPlug's flow on here. He's flowing so well on the track, going absolutely insane. I'm loving the flows. I like how he sounds on this beat. The BigxthaPlug confidence just really shines through here, and it just, create such a great listening experience when you're listening to the song. You can work out with this song, you can run with this damn song.
Did you know that parents rank financial literacy as the #1 most difficult life skill to teach? Meet Greenlight, the debit card and money app for families. With Greenlight, you can send money to kids quickly, set up chores, automate allowance, and keep an eye on your kids' spending with real-time notifications. Kids learn to earn, save, and spend wisely, and parents can rest easy knowing their kids are learning about money with guardrails in place. Try Greenlight risk-free today at greenlight.com/Spotify.
And we're back with Canva Presents Secret Sounds Work Edition. Caller, guess this sound.
It's a mouse click.
So close. That's actually publishing a website with Canva Docs. Next caller.
Definitely a mouse click.
Nice try. It was sorting 100 sticky notes with a Canva whiteboard. We also would have accepted resizing a Canva video into 10 different sizes.
What? No way.
Yes way. One click can go a long way. Love your work at canva.com.
This episode is brought to you by LifeLock. It's tax season, and we're all a bit tired of numbers. But here's one you need to hear. $16.5 billion. That's how much the IRS flagged for possible identity fraud last year. Now here's a good number. 100 million. That's how many data points LifeLock monitors every second. If your identity is stolen, they'll fix it. Guaranteed. Save up to 40% your first year at LifeLock.com/podcast. Terms apply.
BigxthaPlug just has that type of voice, has that type of tone. I mean, goddamn. I still have a BigxthaPlug song that, I play every, not every single day, but it's on my, personal listening app. It's on my personal music that I go listen to, when I'm not listening to shit on this show. So that's a really good, enjoyable experience. Overall, guys, when we talk about this song, BigxthaPlug, Bailey Zimmerman, all the way. The instrumental, I will say, is pretty basic. It's that country trap instrumental, but it does the job. BigxthaPlug coming on here delivering some really good verses. I'm liking the storytelling, the lyrics. And then Bailey Zimmerman coming on here, delivering, a pretty good hook. This is a pretty good country hook. It's all right. It's good. The vocals are good. Nothing to really complain about. So all the way, I'm going to give this track a 7 out of 10. 7 out of 10. What do you think about it, guys? Did you love it? Did you hate it? I don't know. Let me know, guys. Thank you so much for listening, to this podcast, to this review. If you're on YouTube, Spotify, Pandora, wherever you get your podcast at, make sure you follow, turn on notifications. I'll see y'all later. You have a good one. Yeah, guys, BigxthaPlug dropped another banger. This is probably going to be a hit for him, which, really happy for him. BigxthaPlug, one of the best out there, so go check out this song. It's pretty decent, pretty good. I'll see y'all later. You have a good one. Bye.